Are you listening?
Welcome back to the Nerf Report. My name is Bryant, and for today's show, let's talk about the massive news that dropped yesterday, and I figured let's take a moment, let's break through the clickbait, all the panic and Twitter speculation out there, and talk about what really happened. And if you have no idea what we're talking about, yesterday Microsoft announced that the acquisition of ZeniMax Media had been completed, which means the likes of Bethesda Game Studio, id Software, ZeniMax Online Studios, Arcane, Machine Games, Tango Gameworks, Alpha Dog, and Roundhouse Studios are now part of Xbox Game Studios, bringing the total first-party studio lineup at Microsoft to 23. And if you're watching this and you're wondering, well, how much would 8 world-class studios actually cost you? Well, according to people close to this deal, Microsoft reportedly spent $7.5 billion for ZeniMax Media. And I think it's really important to point out, $1 billion is becoming a millionaire 1,000 times. So $7.5 billion is the equivalent of becoming a millionaire 7,500 times. And if that number wasn't crazy enough, Microsoft reported that in the second quarter of their fiscal year, the gaming division's overall revenue hit $43 billion, with a profit of $15.5 billion. So let that sink in. Microsoft's gaming division had enough profit to essentially buy ZeniMax Media twice. Now, since the day that Microsoft announced their intentions to buy Bethesda back in September, probably the biggest question surrounding this deal was, what does this mean for other gaming platforms? I mean, will Bethesda games now become exclusive to Xbox? And Bethesda's Pete Hines wrote today, as we've shared, the expectation is that Bethesda Softworks and our studios will continue as we have in the past, just with more support and resources than we've ever had before. So, surface level here, everything is business as usual. Bethesda games will continue to come to platforms like PlayStation, PC, Nintendo, or even Google Stadia. I mean, that answer is pretty straightforward. But then we have Xbox's Phil Spencer, who wrote, with the addition of the Bethesda creative teams, gamers should know that Xbox consoles, PC, and Game Pass will be the best place to experience new Bethesda games, including some new titles in the future that will be exclusive to Xbox and PC players. Wait, that guy over there just said it's business as usual, and Papa Phil says exclusives are coming. I mean, you two work in the same company. You'd think that communication would be a lot clearer than this. Now, to be fair, Phil's message doesn't outright say that all future games will be exclusive to Xbox. In fact, Phil commits to making Xbox, PC, and Game Pass the best place to experience new Bethesda games. And if we're being honest, being the best place would ensure that there are other places to play the game as well. And when Phil says some new titles in the future that will be exclusive to Xbox and PC players, he's not really saying all new titles, just some. And look, even if some equates to every game but Fallout 76 becomes an exclusive, I really don't find this as big of a deal as everyone's making it. Because remember, Xbox is investing heavily into cloud gaming, with first-party games already being able to be streamed to phones, tablets, and Xbox is actively working on browser support along with manufacturing TV dongles. So if Microsoft were to launch Starfield, Indiana Jones, or even the next Doom as an Xbox exclusive, thanks to Project xCloud, anyone with a phone, a tablet, a TV dongle, or even a Chrome browser could play these games without needing to buy a $500 console. And granted, the argument here is cloud gaming requires an internet connection, people have data caps, and people just don't have access to high internet speeds, Bryant. But the reality is, all of those problems are not permanent. When Netflix launched, the idea of watching movies without having to order a DVD online first was insane to think about. But look where the service is now. Cloud gaming is just getting started, and it's already lowered the necessity to buy a new console. So the reality of Xbox Bethesda exclusives is no different than Stranger Things being on Netflix or WandaVision being on Disney+. We will be able to open an app and play any of these games. With all of that being said, I do have some concerns about how these massive publishing houses will affect the industry. How will indie developers be able to compete against these mega studios? For example, with PlayStation, Xbox, and Epic Games buying up everyone left and right, they are solving their biggest problem in-house by buying content. However, potentially that could lead to smaller studios who want to bring their games to the platform no longer receiving the benefits that they do now, leading indie developers to crowdfunding or other forms of monetization to fund the development of their game. And I guess to wrap this all up, I'm really interested to hear what you have to say. What do you all think? Are you excited about Xbox buying Bethesda? Do you think the Bethesda games will all end up being exclusives? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Hey, thanks again for checking out our channel. If you like what you saw and you want to see more content just like it, which who wouldn't, hit the subscribe button right there. And while you're down there, hit the like button. Maybe even consider becoming a Nerf Report best friend, just like the people listed down below did. In fact, don't you want to see your name there? I know I do.